What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build for the final time in Fortnite OG and the final time in Chapter 4, because in just a few days, we have the Big Bang live event, which is going to be the conclusion of Chapter 4. And then hopefully on Sunday, the day after the event, we end up getting the launch of Fortnite Chapter 5. At the end of chapters, there is sometimes longer downtime, like the black hole event at the end of chapter 1 I believe lasted 36 hours, but it was over the course of 3 days, so it was like, you know, part of the end of one day, the entirety of the second, and then, like, you know, the start of a third. But I think for chapter 2, or like going from chapter 2 to chapter 3 and going from chapter 3 to chapter 4, the downtimes weren't really that long, so I don't expect to have like a multi-day downtime event with this upcoming season. And we do know of several like creative game modes, so not really creative game modes, but ulterior game modes like the Lego mode, the racing mode, and the music mode, which should be launching early December. So I don't think that the downtime will last multiple days, but we will see. I'm going salty this game just because I thought it would be a somewhat populated POI, and it's a pretty fast POI typically. I'm like low-key kind of annoyed because that soccer skin could have killed me, but they like thought they were like overthinking it. I feel like, come on, kill me, elite agent. That guy's a real OG. He was gonna emote with me. I'm on board with Petro. What I was gonna say is salty is like a pretty chaotic POI, and it should be able to clear. The person that should be able to clear it pretty fast and then kind of go about their day. And there's a lot of rifts here. Salty has always been one of the more crazy drop spots just because it never really fit with the amount of people. Like, so many people would go here and there wasn't very much loot here, and you guys see how difficult it is to get loot in OG. Just like the spawn rate of everything is terrible. So Salty was always just like a really chaotic landing spot for that reason. This elite agent should be dead here. Drum shotty just too good. Unfortunately, that is what happens. If you're using pump versus drum shotty and you miss a shot, your game is probably going to be over. There is a med kit there. They can't make use of that though because they use their splashes hecka quick because they just wanted to heal. Now they're getting third partied, and this is just kind of what happens with these spots. I believe there's somebody else here. There's a bush on this roof. Again, the drum shotty is too good. The win condition for this weapon is, are you close to your opponent? If yes, then they're probably dead. I'm surprised. I think there's someone to his back right, but they don't seem too concerned about that. More people splashing. Yeah, there's somebody behind them right now. They're just gonna get in that rift and go. This is interesting. There's a lot of things they could have done there, but that is not what I expected. I kind of just thought they would go into the house. Oh, I think they have the Founder's umbrella. Is this the Founder's umbrella? I don't know. There's some umbrella that I think is this one that you had to get Save the World in like the super early days. And I think that's what this umbrella is. I don't have it because I had zero interest in playing Save the World ever. Like, I started playing BR the second day it was out. I installed it the first day it was out, and then kind of, you know, I like installed it as I got off that day and was like, we'll just play this tomorrow. Try this tomorrow. But I believe this player has the Save the World Founder's umbrella. And they have the Black Knight shield, which is the max tier of the Chapter 1 Season 2 Battle Pass. I just realized that, and I was like too busy talking about other things. But this final week, the drum shotty has just been a menace, unfortunately. It kind of always is when it's in Zero Build. Like, the drum shotty is just really good for Zero Build. But I feel like even more so this season because of how unforgiving the other shotguns can be. Like, when we had the Havoc pump in the game, you could just put down a drum shotty user if you hit a good shot. But, like, these pumps, unless you have a gold one, it's not going to hit for 200. And then even, like, getting a gold one is rough. And then even if you have a gold one, the likelihood of you getting a perfect shot is low because you need to have better aim, and the range on them is not very good. You can go to the gold locations. This should be a free kill. The gold locations are marked on the map every game, like Lonely Lodge this game, Lucky Landing, and Paradise. And those have loot drones that was added in the Season X update, and it is really good to go there if you don't mind fighting people because those loot drones can give you like solid loot. Like, you have pretty good chances of coming out of there with like a gold shotgun. There's just a few loot drones. I think each drone drops like a purple or gold weapon. So you, in theory, should be able to get solid loot there, but you guys know how this game is sometimes with loot. They need shield. They have no shield. If I was in their situation, I would probably just check the basement of this blue house. It's probably already been looted, but there's an infinite rift down there. And they could probably go into Dusty and get like shield mushrooms at the very least. Or they could maybe look to see if a supply drop is going to be spawning anytime soon and then just rift onto that from one of the natural rifts here. But this is kind of the unfortunate circumstance of playing this game right now is you land at a hot POI, you get some eliminations. You clear your POI, and then now your reward for doing so is just no shield. GG's. That person up there should be an AI. They missed way too many shots. I don't even know what they were shooting at. I don't think they were shooting at the player. Yeah, this is a drone. But there is a person on this house as well. And this person kind of got baited by the drone. This worked out great for the player we're currently spectating. I don't remember the name of the skin. But that Renegade Lynx right there just got like hard screwed by an AI. That is so tragic. Oof, there's grapplers more. Still no shield though. And that's why I said if I was in this situation, I would just go to Dusty because maybe it's been unlooted or there's some extras, like excess loot there that's left behind. But at the very least, you're going to be able to get the shield mushrooms. And you can't really say that for anywhere else nearby. People fighting up there. He should third party this. When two players fight with the drum shotty, it's almost always the case that like the winner of that fight is weak. And he gets the kill there. It almost did not go his way somehow. I guess that player wasn't as weak as I thought. But typically that's the case when you have people fighting with two higher fire rate shotguns. Where like if you have somebody fighting and use a pump, they might just like insta-kill their opponent, you know? Or get so much damage in that first shot that like their opponent isn't able to do much damage back. And then also there's potential that somebody using the pump misses. But if you have two players in a room like that, both shooting drum shotties, the person who wins the fight should not be healthy afterwards. I think that was Rick from The Walking Dead. Like, I don't know why that man had so much HP. Sorry if that was the undercorrect character. I've never seen that show. One thing I don't care for is that this person is still using an SMG. I feel like if you're using the drum shotty in zero build, you really don't need an SMG, and then you could use the jetpack. And I think the jetpack drum shotty is just a really good combo when you're able to like get above people. Like right here, if he was jetpacking above that Rust Lord's head, that Rust Lord has just like an incredibly hard time playing the game, I think. Just anytime you're able to like be like slightly above or like maybe slightly above and behind somebody with the jetpack, it's such a cringe fight. And it's so just awkward for most players to deal with that. Like I said, especially if you're just like kind of hovering above their head. With the other shotguns, I don't like using the jetpack too much. If I was using like the pump or the tac, I would rather have like grappler and shockwaves or grappler and bunkers. But if I'm using the drum shotty, the jetpack is just so good, man. The jetpack drum shotty combo is just like ridiculous. We'll see if he goes for the tac. Okay. So now this makes a little more sense to me. I wouldn't mind not having the jetpack if I have attack, but still, I don't think that SMG is needed. But that's just me. Like they could go double heals. They could go still with the jetpack. I think there was some shockwaves back on that tower. We'll see if they ever use the SMG, but I don't think they have so far. And like taking the tac over the drum shotty there, I don't think is a terrible decision. I think the drum shotty is going to be the easiest to use for most players, but the tac is also still very good. The damage potential on this gold tac is much higher than the drum shotty. And their aim has seemed decent thus far, so like it can be the right play. I just think for most people, like the drum shotty is just so easy and it's just very cringe. I think my worst nightmare for chapter 5 would be waking up and seeing that the drum shotty is in the game or that the exotic maven is in the game. Like just these full auto, like I know the tac is full auto, but it's like a different full auto, you know, it's like not as spammy. Same with the maven, like the maven was full auto, but it wasn't like as ridiculously spammy. The exotic one was though. Oh, I think this is that lady from earlier. Oh, this fight's over, GG's. That is unfortunate. They just, I don't even know like how they lost that fight. Like it just was like weird at first. I'm kind of sad that this player won that fight because the person we were spectating before was like solid, I thought, but that fight was just so weird. I think the skin is Isabella. Like I don't know why that happened the way that happened, but it did. Like the person we were spectating just like took so much damage, and this Isabella took like very little, and it's hard to turn that fight when both players are just standing kind of spamming each other with spammy shotguns. Like the Isabella did have height, but I guess that was just the play. The Isabella had height. Or like the reason why they won. I'm not even really sure what the person we were spectating could have done. Like it's... I don't know. This season is just very weird. I feel like you get into a lot of like awkward fights like that are just like very timing based, and there's like really not that much to be done one way or the other. I'm not sure. Like this season, dude, everyone keeps trying to get that grappler. I feel like this season more than any other recent season, is just very timing based. Like this Isabella is probably dead here because that player got first shot on her, and there's like not a way for her to really turn this fight. GG's. Official Nogops. This is the real Nogops, guys. We got the Eminem concerts coming soon. The real Slim Shady. This is the real Nogops. That's gonna be the Eminem remix that comes for the event. That was their first kill too, surprisingly. They seemed kind of crazy. But that's like exactly what I was talking about. Like the Isabella we were spectating was just facing the wrong way, or like this person got first shot and like got better timing in the fight. Isabella's down to 50 health. Like what does she even do there, you know? Like this Nogops has to throw so hard for that Isabella to like kind of make her way back into that fight, or make her way back into this game. This person does have the mobility bunkers too, which I think is a good combo, especially if you're going to be using attack. Like I said, I don't care for having the jetpack as much with the attack or the pump. I feel like the drum shotty is just very easy to just jetpack around and spam. You don't need to have as good of aim, you know? But also the range, for some reason the drum shotty has like the best range, I feel like. It shouldn't be that way, but like the pump and the attack have such little range and the fire rates aren't that great that like kind of jetpacking around I feel like hurts you more than it helps you. So if I was going to use attack, I think I still would rather use like grappler bunkers or grappler shockwaves or shockwaves bunkers, something like that. Any combination of those items that I end up finding is kind of like what I go for in Fortnite OG, because again, the spawn rate of everything is just kind of dreadful. So this person's going to go for island, I think, which can be good if it's in zone, but one of the things about this is I feel like this player is very unlikely to get any kills from up here. We'll see how things go, but anytime you're playing height like this season, and you don't have a sniper, I feel like it's just rough to get AR kills long range with these ARs. Because we'll see like what angles they have on people if they see anybody. Maybe if they're in this field. Does he see somebody? What the heck? But like if there's somebody on the like one of these mountains or in tilted, nobody is gonna peek long enough to get like tapped one shot at a time by a Scar, you know? That's like one of my least favorite things about this season is I feel like there's just like a lot of mid to long range fights that just kind of go nowhere. Is that bush? No, that's a player in that bush. That's not natural. I was about to say, when I saw it up top, I was like not sure. That was Barktavius, GG's. But yeah, I saw that corner of my eye and I was like, there's no way there's supposed to be a bush up here, right? I don't know what they're doing. If they could have killed Barktavius up there, then having that sniper up top would have been nice. Are they gonna go for it? I thought they were trying to get the fresher grappler from that player potentially, but they just like didn't pick it up. I don't really know what they're doing, but the bush they killed on island had a grappler, I think. They might have looked at it and found that it was lower than theirs. I'm not sure. Like, you kind of don't get all that information when spectating, like when people look over items and stuff. I think they're just kind of hang out here and then they're going to fly on people. There's two people fighting it on there. So this is like a chance where they could potentially get a kill for island because there's two people fighting and they're third partying it. But this player right here was the healthier player in that fight. And so like they could just leave. Like, that person isn't going to sit there and let them get tapped down, you know? That's what I was saying. There's just a lot of fights this season that kind of go nowhere. And then the way zones are, I feel like just makes it take longer for fights to play out. And then, like, those two things combined are just rough. Even, like, pushing this is going to be hard for him because he doesn't have shockwaves. Like, shockwaves would be better here. But this player is probably going to be mostly healed by the time he gets there because you only hit him for one real shot anyways. There's two over shield, one, like, you know, actual shield. And then now this is like mostly a reset fight, you know? Like that damage that they did isn't the biggest deal. I hate that bug when you're like walking sideways and your character turns like that. You gotta be careful fighting here too, because y'all know how thirsty people are to third party this season. I think this player messed up the grappler, the one under him. Oof. Tack shots did not go well for this Nogops, but they should still be able to get this kill. I think they got the better hand of that exchange, yeah. But that almost went like south. I think like the first 2 shots were not great damage at all. And then they hit like an 88 on the 3rd shot. Gonna throw that back to the pirate camp. That way he can go in there and use it. 5 opponents remain. Only 4 uses on this grappler though. What I think that player that just died could have done is when this Nogops was flying through the sky at them, instead of going for snipes, if they just use their AR, they probably get some amount of damage on the Nogops. And when the Nogops is in the air, she can't return fire, you know, when she's gliding. So when the person who died was on this roof, I think they should have just like full sprayed their AR. Hopefully they hit like between 1 and 5 shots at least. And then that kind of deters this Nogops from landing on them. But they just hit it. They threw out snipes, and then like if the snipe hits, that's great. You did a lot of damage in 1 shot. But if the snipe doesn't hit in that situation, and like the likelihood of it hitting isn't very high, you just get nothing in that time. So I think going for some AR tags on this gliding Nogops could have deterred the Nogops from landing on them if they got decent damage. And I got someone who commented on a video recently asking how you deal with aggressive players, and I feel like it's hard to answer that question just because this game is so situational, you know. But if you're getting pushed like that and the opponent is doing something where they can't return fire, I think getting some AR tags on them and hopefully just allowing you time to reset the fight is the best play. And when that Nogops is gliding, she can't return fire. So it's like great for you. You either like beam them and then they leave you alone, or you beam them and they still land on you and now you have the upper hand in that fight. And that is kind of one of the nicer things about these mid-range ARs is I feel like, or these third-person ARs is mid-range like that can be a little bit easier when someone's like gliding on you or shockwaving on you, grappling on you. I think I would rather have like a third-person bloom-based AR than like a red dot AR in that situation. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here with the grappler. Try to get up top, I guess. Still 5 opponents remaining, and this zone is mostly island. This is going to be a weird endgame. Now the waiting game starts. Is that hill still on zone? No, it's not. So yeah, island is definitely the best spot to be here. Not only is it the highest point, but you have the gliding for mobility, and like everybody else I feel like is so incentivized to rotate into each other here that it might just get pretty like crazy. Like I don't like this zone much for everyone else. On the flip side, though, he could get sniped at any moment in time, so, like, gotta be careful. Like, this situation here, going for those AR tags, I know, like, I want to do it too, but it's, like, the potential gain there is, like, minuscule. Unless 2 people are fighting or incredibly weak for some reason, like, you're probably not going to get a kill tapping like that. And if you are, like, if you're fighting someone that's just going to stand out there and, like, let you tap them, they probably weren't the biggest threat anyways, you know? But potential snipers are, like, this player's biggest problem right now, I think, or their biggest threat. The thing that could lead to this player losing the game most at this moment in time would be snipers catching him off while he's like busy tapping away on a person that doesn't really matter, like right there. And snipers, it's not the most common thing in game, but I feel like they're relatively common this season in game. Like people know how like slow it plays out in game. And it's like a big thing to think about a lot when doing things in this game. It's just like, what is the risk and what is the reward? Like the reward for getting those shots, unlikely to amount to a kill. Like the risk is getting sniped and kind of throwing the game. Zone did come off. Another sniper shot at him. Zone did come off island, which is kind of bad for this player. This zone stinks. Luckily for them, they do have bunkers though. So like a zone like this, I feel like there's no ideal spot to be. Like I don't think that pirate camp is in zone. Those 2 fought, but he didn't hit anything. But yeah, that pirate camp isn't in zone. I think I would want to fly to the pirate camp a bit early and then rotate from there. Because if he just late rotates, someone could kind of take the ideal positioning from him. But like the ideal positioning in this zone isn't the biggest deal. Especially if the person doesn't have bunkers. It's actually like huge. It's like very much in this Nogops's favor. I feel like that the zone kind of went into like a bad spot like that. Because if it pulled to the pirate camp, then like the person who gets there, you know, they have a decent spot. But this zone is just like straight field. You do have to be careful though. If you're the only one with bunkers there, you could just get like focused out. Explosives are fairly common. Like they could still lose this game for sure. But like if it wasn't gonna favor island, then kind of going into just an open area while this player has bunkers and the other players might not, I think it's pretty nice. We'll see how they choose to play this. I don't think that shack is in zone, but it might be. Okay, yeah, that shack is in zone. That's one of the few cover spots, but it does have like low ground to the other side. I feel like with this zone, there's no like right answer. Just kind of go somewhere and play it. I would get ready to third party that. I think this is a fight that's going to happen. That player's probably going to jump out of the plane. Yeah. This is good. Just, no, I think you land here and bunker. Or get in. But I think bunkering, like landing a bit sooner and then bunkering, that way the person behind you can't shoot at you, but you can like AR this guy while he's still fighting. Is probably the play. I don't think this player has had a chance to heal. The floor can be broken by like 1 or 2 pickaxe links. Oh, they came out. GG's. Look for third parties. They didn't take much damage at all aside from overshield there. 1v1. The last player is over there shooting at them before, so they should be coming from this direction. They might be in that bush. Okay, no, they're there. GG's. This is kind of like what I wanted them to do before. Was like throw this bunker down as like a barrier between them and that player, and then just turn and third party that fight. I feel like a lot of people kind of, or some people don't think of like the cover items like that. They think of it as just like you sit in at all times, but it can essentially be used like building in build mode. You just put it down that way that angle can't shoot at you anymore. And then those other people at that cabin are going to be distracted anyways. But that's very fortunate for that player that the other two chose to fight. And I think the last final player with the scope there might have been an AI. But yeah, like the one player rammed a plane into the other. He's able to easily clean that up. And then it's just GG's from there. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe, like, see more. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.